Hello, everyone. This is Gavin with All Access Card Shop, coming back to you with another deck profile. I'm here with
Micah, Brault.
And what'd you do this weekend?
I won the Iowa Regionals.
What deck were we playing?
I was playing Cats. I played Purrely.
All right, let's get into it.
First, can I do some shout-outs real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Shout-outs to everybody at 702, at the legendary 702. Shout-outs to everybody at All Access, too, because, without their support, they give me the sleeves, they give me a lot of good advice. Special shout-outs to Mitchell Drake, specifically, because he's, practicing with me a lot. And I've only picked this deck up for 2 weeks, so it's kind of crazy that I won the whole thing with only 2 weeks of practice. And then shout out to everybody at the regionals, the judges and everything, because everybody's super, super, super nice. And that's basically it.
All right, let's get into it.
All right, we'll do the main deck first. So I'm just going to spread all these cards out because I think that all this stuff is self-explanatory. You play any cat deck, and these cards you're guaranteed going to play in every cat deck. You just max out on all the engine. You play at least one trap. There's an argument for two traps, but I don't want to really get into that. I never really played with two traps. And then the other engine stuff is going to be these cards, which are two street. I chose to play 2 street, 2 prosperity. So one of the things is I think street's really, really good, and I actually really want to play 3, and maybe post egg off I will be playing 3. But I wanted to cut down on the amount of cards because I'm already playing 41 cards, and there's so much non-engine spots that I wanted to take. So I ended up cutting one of these, and then I ended up cutting 1 prosperity. I need to play prosperity in this deck list specifically because when I go first, and I'll show you in the side, but there's a card in my deck list that in going first, if I can see this in my hand, I'll do as much Purrely stuff as I can, and then I'll dig 6 no matter what, and then try to dig for that specifically. And then for another engine or non-engine requirement is I think Purrely is really, really strong when you do have a discard engine. So I also played 3 Fenrir. All in all, Fenrir was super, super good. Single-handedly carried one of my Purrely mirrors. Basically what ended up happening was he was on a crossout package, but he didn't play DD Crow for crossout. So I DD Crowed his Lily target, and then he just couldn't play because the rest of his cards were non-engine. And one single Fenrir put so much pressure out by not only he had a Solemn Judgment set, and he's thinking whether he's going to Solemn this Fenrir out. Because Fenrir's going to give me a crossout target. This is going to cut off his follow-up because he has my friend. But just by itself, this put so much pressure that when I was able to summon 1 cat with what he had set, he's like, yeah, that's just it. And he scooped. For non-engine, I ended up playing a Thrust package. There was enough Purrely at the event before I signed in that I actually just was put this in the main deck and put a different card at the side. I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many people just playing cats while they were waiting. And then this is specifically for Unchained, and then this is just a generically good catch-all card that I ended up picking. And Thrust can also grab Leap in certain situations, but then it can also pick up this card, and this will show the rest of the non-engine. I ended up playing 8 hand traps. This specifically is just really, really good against Purrely in some rogue matchups. And then if I didn't play on an Unchained player, but if I happen to play an Unchained player, Caesar's actually a huge problem for this deck. So this is one of the catch-alls too for if I'm playing a good Unchained player and I have this in my hand, I'm just gonna save it to Imperm Caesar and then try to play through. And this is the catch-all because this is good into practically everything. But specifically the bad Unchained players is really good, and then again I just chose this for the second portion of it. 41 cards in the main deck. Super happy. I think Purrely's one of those decks that excels at playing board breakers and hand traps. So the fact that I was able to do both and fit them felt pretty solid. I'll do the extra deck next. So I'll do the same thing. These are all Purrely cards that you're going to play in every Purrely deck. You're just gonna have all those. Also, even though they're links, I'll put these out too, because I think that these are all going to be in Purrely deck lists. This is almost non-negotiable, and then these were the 4 negotiable spots. And I actually think that some of these choices were because I didn't own cards, which I was oh, they didn't come in the mail yet, so I played this instead of Downard. This came up when somebody shifted me, and so I sat on a Fuko, and then I was able to put in an attack because he left something in defense, which was a misplay, but The fact that it like threatened Zeus afterwards was also really, really strong, and it ensured that I'm not dying under Shifter, and I just didn't have enough resources in hand to like try to play through it. I hate this card. I actually think this card's so bad. And there's a better card. It's called Ensemble Blue Robin. I was looking for it right before the event. This never came up. Ensemble Blue technically also like never came up. I just like left a Lily on board instead to like play around someone just like going into Herald of the Abyss right away instead. Which would be pretty telegraphed if they just went to battle to kill my Lily. But if I could have, I would have summoned another Purrely monster and then made an Ensemble Blue Robin instead, because it's just 2 more bounce backs and it's way more threatening. Especially since like Kashtira is almost out. You only have to worry about Fenrir, and sure, Ensemble Blue is bad at bouncing back Fenrir, but I'll show you something else in the side deck that also just pairs. Also, I don't think you need to run 2 Beauty, and I have some PTSD for being Ibly locked for like local events. It's happened like 7th round at the YCS that ended up kicking me out. It happened to me the last time where I got 4th place at the regional. I got Ibly locked at table 1, and I was like, so I could have, and I did. Yeah. Then lastly, side deck. So I needed something that was good into Unchained and into Purrely, so I ended up picking 3 DD Crows. Notably, I sided this into Purrely a lot. There's a Tier Elements player I ended up playing. Shout out to him. I love that guy. And basically, this is like a good catch-all for like 3 of the meta decks. I realized that playing a little bit more, like this is actually a worse side into Unchained going first, and then like going second. Like this is decently good, but I realized that like I rather side some other cards that are in here instead. Going first, I usually side these in. There's a lot of combo decks. It's a catch-all. I have to worry about flu, all those things. So like this is just a generically good catch-all card. I love that. Lava Golem, same Unchained argument. This is I'll show these two. So like these are like my main go second targets for like when I am playing against Unchained. This out Caesar and another monster. It trades super well. This does the same thing, just because those cards are so problematic for me. And then not only that, but like since I can like put Lava Golem where I want to put them, and because sometimes I need like a monster and attack to be able to like OTK with Purrely, and I don't rely on my normal summon, like these just became super, super good. I think if like a Purrely player also shows me Fenrir, I side these in, because if they like special summon Fenrir and make a Noir, then like this is just trading for his whole board. Then my go first cards of choice with Summon Limit. This is what I was talking about with Ensemble Blue Robin. Like this plus Ensemble Blue Robin by itself is kind of like an OTK. You can play around it yourself because you're summoning a monster on their turn. You can like bounce your own Summon Limit back or pitch it with Beauty, which is also super, super strong. Not only that, but like limiting most decks to 2 summons. There's only like a couple decks where this isn't a valid going first option, and like generally I think I'm in a better position against those decks anyway. So like example, like if you play a trap deck, I think Purrely has a great time into trap decks. I don't really worry about like floodgates or anything like that if I have a Noir on field. So I ended up picking this. And it's unfortunate that this card did come up. Shout outs to my hero Joshua Schmidt, talking about how like Purrely has a really rough time going into time, and my round 7 ended up being a time scenario. Sorry about that, because he's a cool guy. I wish it didn't like end up the way it did, because there's actually like a small controversy at the regional. But I ended up playing Condemned Dark Lord. If you don't know what it does, it's a vanilla monster that says at the end phase, gain 500 life points for each fairy you control. So I end up paying like 500 with my friend, then like making an XYZ, linking off 2 more Purrelys, because you can summon like 3 of them, almost guaranteed. And then I was like, I'll make this, proceed to end phase, then activate Plump Effect, and then do this. And it's like, so this was really good into the Runic player specifically too, because like after game 1 that I won, he has to like make sure he wins game 2, and it just takes him a long, long time because he's playing Runic spells. So we ended up having like 5 minutes, 40-ish seconds by the end of round 2, and then it was like, oh, so if I'm on the play trying to get into time, then like this is obviously the card. yeah, happy with this deck list. I don't think I would have changed much other than like these spots actually. They might be like more targeted for like certain matchups, but like because they did cross into Purrely and tier elements, I was really happy with that. So can't really complain too much. And I know this deck list is going to change once Agoff comes out because like Cannon Jenner, crazy cards, like we might have to do more gas, no breaks kind of situations. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with this list.
All right. Well, congratulations, Micah.
Thanks.
Thanks for giving us your deck profile.